back on YouTube channel. So Coding Wala School. So in this video, this is our second new video. In this video, we will talk about the JavaScript interview question as a for freshers, right? So in the freshers mostly ask, and also that is the very basic question that are going to ask if you are going to give the interview of that JavaScript or the front end development. So basically that first question is come to the pictures of that, for how many data types of that, how many means what is the different type of data types is there. So basically if we talk about that data types, okay, so basically in that the JavaScript we have a two types of data types, right? So two types of data types. So which two types of data types? So one is a primitive data type, okay, primitive, and the second one is a non-primitive data type, okay. So non-primitive, okay. So if we talk about that, what is the primitive and what is the non-primitive data types, okay. So basically the primitive data types can store only singles value. Primitive data types store only singles value, like the primitive, if we talk about that primitive, like store a singles value like numbers, strings, that can store a singles value, right? And non-primitive data types that store the multiple complex value. So array that can store the multiple complex value, right? So let me see that what is the primitive data types. So basically string is a primitive data type, right? So let's suppose variable is str equal to coding, okay. So it can store only one things at a one times, that is right, that is the primitive data types. And we can write a variable num equal to tens, right? This is a primitive data types, so that can store a singles value, right? So basically, so let me talk about that, how many data types are the primitive and how many data types are the non-primitive. And if this is a primitive data type, right? And if I talk about the non-primitive data types, non-primitive data type that can store the value of arrays, right? That can store the multiple values, like let array. So inside the array we can store 1, 2, 3, like that value, right? That is the non-primitive data types, okay. And inside the object, so object inside we can store multiple value. That one is also non-primitive data type, okay. So we can store like that value. So basically I hope you get that point, what is the primitive data types and what is the non-primitive data types. Okay, so let me tell about that, how many is their primitive data type and how many is their non-primitive data types. So let me tell data types, okay. So basically that are the, I think that the first one is a number, okay. So number is non-primitive data types. The second one is byte. So second one is we can say string is a non-primitive data types, okay. And then we have a byte. So do you want to know what is the byte? So byte is a basically that the limitation of the number that can store a larger integers and are represented by adding n integers number. So byte is a basically that can store n number of integers, okay. What we can store? N number of integers. So byte basically we you know number and string, but you don't know what is byte. So byte we can store n number of integer, okay. So like the byte should be look like this. So this is also our non-primitive data types, okay, that have a lot of number is there, right? So this is a byte integers. So in the if you we will do hover, so it is non-primitive data types, so you can look at that point. So that is the basically the data types is there, byte integers, okay. So up now we come to the pictures of that next the things booleans, right? Boolean is also primitive data types. So inside the booleans, like what we can say that booleans like the true and false, right? So it represent a logical entity, right? Can have only two values, at the true or the false. So it's represent, it's a logical value, and what will be value? So value will be only true or false. True value will be there. It's a logical representative. It's a use for the condition testings, right? So I hope you get that point, right? Let's suppose we have how we can how can we execute, right? So let's suppose we have so we can check that. So variable a equal to we have a 10 2, and variable b equal to we have a 2. Okay, so if we want to check that how this thing is there, right? And what is the value? Console.log. So it's going to return, right? So it's going to execute the things, and a equal to b. So means a equal to b, and type of operator also is going to check is the number or not. So that's why it's going to give output is a true as. Okay, so this is a basically funda here. It's going to give output true. So that you get that the boolean is also primitive data types. Okay. And now come to the pictures of that undefined. So when a variable declared but not assigned value, that value is undefined. That is type of undefined. That is also primitive data types. Okay. So let's suppose where x equal to x, I'm going to assign nothing. So it's undefined, right? So variable have been declared, right? So what is that name? Undefined. So that's mean variable have been declared but not yet assigned, right? So that is a basically that is also primitive data types. So that you can also count that. So basically number, string, byte, boolean, undefined. So and also that null is also, and now come to the picture of null. So null is also primitive data types, right? So variable z equal to null. So means that means variable have been declared as well as the value have been assigned on that variable, but that value have nulls, right? So that is a basically also primitive data types. But you can count down the difference between that undefined and null. Basically undefined is the variable is declared but not yet assigned. Okay, but in the nulls variable have not declared. In the nulls variable have declared, also have assigned, but not at have been value is there. So that's why it's coming null. Okay, so basically I hope you get that point, that in the primitive have this basically the 3 and 4, 5, 6 and 7 type of data types, right? So null, undefined, booleans, number, string, so byte. It's basically the 3 this and then 3 this. Okay, so we have the 6 type of data is the primitive, and also one is there that you got the point null, and basically that primitive is the 7 type of data types. Okay, inside the primitive data types I have the 7 types. Okay, so what the 7 types? String, numbers, booleans, null, undefined, byte, and one is a symbol. What is the symbol? Symbol is a basically new data type introduced in the EX6 version of JavaScript, that it's used store anonymous unique values. Okay, so it's why it's used. It's a use for the store anonymous, means that value we cannot know, and that is the value also unique value. So that purpose we use that place. Okay, so let's suppose we are going to write where the symbol. Okay, so inside the symbols we are going to write symbols, and inside the symbols we are giving the anonymous value sum. Okay, so I hope you get that somehow point at that primitive data types. Okay, and up now come to the pictures of non-primitive data types. Okay, so if you want to check that, so we will check about that also. So non-primitive data types, that primitive data types can store only the singles value, and the non-primitive data types that that can store multiple value. Okay, multiple value. Okay, so basically that array and object basically the two things is non-primitive data type. So I hope you get that. Array, number one is array that can store a multiple value, right? So array, and the second one is object. I hope in this video you will get a lot of the things in the primitive data type and non-primitive data type. Also you will get the how many types inside that primitive data types have, and how many types inside that non-primitive data types. I hope if the interviewer asks to that question, so you can explain the very well the things. So now you get that what is the string, what is the byte, and why big integers, what is the big integers, and what is the boolean, what is the symbols, why we use the symbols, right? The symbol used for that is store anonymous values that have the no name of that. So I hope this video will be very informative to you. If you like this video, subscribe the channels. If you have any suggestions, you can write your suggestion on comment. And if you want to follow and if you catch up with me, so you can follow on the LinkedIn. So thank you so much for watching this video. See you soon. We will meet in the next video.